for nothing because of her color. I don't know what to do, but I'm tired of you taking all of my fame. There is no excuse. What you want us to do ain't gonna put up with you. You're getting away, murder. Oh. So that dress will look like this. You wanna dress like us, but you don't respect us. How do you look at you? What's the reason to fear us? You think it's a game, but we ain't playing. The way you're doing us just the same. I don't know what to do, but I'm tired of you taking all of my fame. There is no excuse. What you want us to do ain't gonna put up with you. You're getting away, murder. Something's gotta change, because we all breathe the same. Oh, it's getting harder to forgive. We're the only ones that's losing our lives for no good reason. I know you want us to pretend that we're okay, just get over it. Not this time, we won't lay down. We're not okay, okay? We've gotta find a way, yeah. Nothing here to say. Something afraid of our color. Oh.
How about that?
So they can hear the video, but they couldn't hear the dialogue, the talking.
So they can't hear us talking. Can they hear us now? Let us know if you can hear us.
Can you hear now, babe? Not yet.
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulty.
First day jitters.
Yeah. Okay, I see the request coming in.
So can they hear?
Oh, there we go.
They can hear us now?
Live.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna have her go out so we can rewind. What are you seeing it on? Okay, so it's live on YouTube, but she says she's not seeing it live on Facebook. But we'll continue because actually this will be audio that will be ripped down to our podcast anyway, so we'll edit that out. But so again, let's start from the beginning. Y'all might have missed our song, so go ahead and play it again.
You want to play the song again? All right, here we go. We gotta play the song again.
We're gonna run it back.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should be good now. I'm gonna check the sound. Make sure we're good.
It's MJB music with JB. Tell somebody, tell them you should be here. You are now tuned in. MJB music with JB.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm sorry we're a few minutes late. You know, this is our first show. We're going through a little technical difficulty, but we got it now. Hopefully you can hear us, you can see us, and we sound good and look great. Yeah. So check it out. I'm Mario J. Brown, singer, songwriter, also CEO of MJB Music. And this is the MJB Music Podcast with JB.
And I am JB, the other half of the podcast. And I am a pastor, producer, well, kind of producer. I'm not a super producer. I'm just a entry-level producer, musician, CMO of MJB Music. Glad to be here.
Yes, man. Man of many hats. So, yeah, we started this 30-minute daily podcast Monday through Friday just to bring you everything music, education, and culture. What exactly does this mean, JB? Can you explain to our listeners what they can expect?
Yeah, so it's going to be great because we're going to get valuable information from various different industry professionals, entertainment industry professionals, such as producers, songwriters, makeup artists, entertainment lawyers, photographers, managers, all different aspects of the music. We'll be able to dive into some of their knowledge and help us to grow in our industry.
Absolutely. And as you know, no one's journey is the same. And I've been blessed to encounter some wonderful industry professionals. So I've just been reaching out to some industry friends, and they're reaching out to their friends to kind of just connect us together, so we could just be a help to one another. We all have traveled different roads and different walks, and we can all learn from each other valuable lessons. So I'm excited, man, just to be able to just give this music education and also some culture that's going on.
Absolutely.
So let's give the forecast for today. So today's show, we're going to be talking about what makes a successful producer. What makes a successful producer? So go ahead, start tagging every producer everybody that's on the MPC or the drums, or they trying to make a beat. They feel like I got it. It's something that I think I'm a producer. Go and tag them because they're gonna learn something today. All right?
Absolutely.
And they don't want to miss this. And joining us today will be Grammy, Dove, BMI Award winner, and legendary super producer, Dr. Percy Bady.
Woohoo!
So excited to have him. This musician, writer, arranger, artist, and producer is undoubtedly one of the most well-known and well-respected names, and get this, in Christian and secular music.
Wow.
Not everybody has crossed over. His body of work has garnered him 26 gold and platinum albums. 26, y'all. You know how hard it is to get one? This man has 26.
Wow.
Come on, somebody. His beaming talent would also catch the eyes and ears of notorious R. Kelly, which would later result in the collaboration of one of the best pop songs of our times, I Believe I Can Fly. I'm sure he's still eating off that to the day he leaves this earth. I Believe I Can Fly.
Right? My God.
But more importantly, above all of that, Percy is a loving husband, father, friend, brother, one of the most genuine people that I've encountered in this business, in this industry. And he hasn't changed. He's been the same from the day I met him. And that's what I appreciate most about him. But before we, get into what's going on, JB, tell us what's going on in the culture. What's the newsflash moment of the day?
Well, we all know Will and Jada are lighting up the internet with their, I like to call it entanglement gate. So the question's stirring. Will they still be married? We don't know. That's the question. So we got to hold them up in prayer. I don't know if anybody, if you've been on the internet, you know the story about what's going on with Will and Jada Smith and her entanglement with August Alsina. And Alsina. And so she went on Red Talk and she's talked about it. And I'm gonna tell you, Will did not look happy, and so I don't know. I'm praying. I'm gonna keep Will and Jada up before the Lord that He restore their marriage, because I don't know, man.
He kind of had that man-made smile. That smile that ain't real, but you kind of got to make that smile.
Right.
Inside you in some pain.
Right.
Right. Like you said, we're gonna definitely keep them up. But yeah, that's what's going on in the culture, man. It's being talked about everywhere. Look, man. So,
everywhere you look.
Hey, I have a hard enough time just dealing with one woman. So God bless them and their endeavors. But yeah, man. So without further ado, man, today again we're talking about becoming a successful producer. JB, tell me, why do you think it's important, and are people that's calling themselves producers really are actually a producer?
Well, initially, when I look at the word producer, I look at it as someone who produces a product, right? They take several different ingredients from several different places, and they bring it together to present a product for the people. So music producers are super important, because otherwise you wouldn't have a final product that the people can enjoy. You would just have chaos. And so the producers, I believe that their intelligence and their intuition allows them to bring in several different parts together to produce something that the public can enjoy. And so they're very important.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think producers are more or less like visionaries as well, because they see the finished product.
Absolutely.
Before it starts. So it goes from idea or concept to finished product. And I
Absolutely.
just love the whole process, man. So, without further ado, man, I just want to welcome our special guest today, Dr. Percy Bady. Welcome to the MJB Music with JB podcast, brother. We're so glad to see you and glad to have you.
Hey, what's happening, man? I'm glad to be with you guys, man. Sounding good, looking good too, man.
I appreciate it, man. Trying to keep it young, man. Just trying.
It's all
good.
Man.
Again, it's such an honor. We've read your bio and different things that you've accomplished. But like I said, man, even more importantly than all of that, man, I just really appreciate just Percy the person.
Thank you, man.
All of the accomplishments, man. You're just a great spirit, man. I just love to just be around you, or even watching you from a distance and learning, and just being a mentor from afar. So we appreciate you, man. And today we just want to kind of pick your brain, and hopefully you can give, well, not hopefully, I know you'll give our listeners something very valuable that they can take away from this setting. So, so we're just going to ask you a couple questions, man, if you don't mind.
Hey, let's get in it, man. Let's go.
All right, so number one, man, what does it take to make a hit song? And what's typically your process when producing a record, or like what are some of the tools that you use to create?
Wow, you come out the gate. You come out the gate like pow, 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 pow.
Yeah.
Woo, man. Well, so, you know, I don't know that I can't say that there's a particular strategy for hit songs. I don't think that's predictable. I think what we've learned to do is we've learned to trust our gut when something feels good. And because the reality is that what we do, man, people will forget some of the lyrics. They may forget some of the names of the people that sing, but they'll never forget how it made them feel. And so that's why it's so important to trust your gut. And whatever that gave you that feeling in your gut, if you can kind of document that in some kind of way, how you got there, it can be like a bar that you can set, and use that for future references when you're doing things, or when you're working on songs and you're trying to create something that will be timeless. You know, I think my definition of a hit song is something that outlives you, that speaks when you can't speak anymore.
Wow.
That's how I view it. And so I've learned over time, man, that there is a craft to writing a song, a great song. There's a craft to it. There's an art to it, I should say.
Yeah.
And there's some staples there. But being able to predict whether it will resonate with others, because that's how you quantify what's a hit, is that when it resonates with others, man, when others hear it and it resonates, that's when you know it's something that's beyond just you, your family, and the people that's close to you who may be listening to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teach us, sir.
Well, speaking of hit songs, you know, I Believe I Can Fly is one of the most notarized songs that there is. So tell us the story behind that and how that came about, you know.
So I Believe I Can Fly, man, was something that was co-written by myself and R. Kelly, man, in a hotel in Detroit, Michigan. We were finishing up the first leg of the Download Top Secret tour.
Okay.
And it was the last night, man, and we finished up the show that night. I went back to the hotel, went to sleep, and I get a call about 3 or 4 in the morning. Actually, about 3 in the morning, and it was R. Kelly. It was him saying, "Hey, man, I got an idea for a song, man, and we need to get it done because I need to turn it in to Atlantic Records." Never saying what it was for.
Okay.
You know. And so I got up and went down because one of my roles with him was I wasn't just his musical director, but I was also his music guy in the studio.
Okay.
You know, so anything he was working on, any records that were being made, I was on them.
Okay.
I was working on them.
Wow.
And so went down to the lobby, man, and sat with him at the piano, man, and he basically just had the first part of the song, and which was just I used to think
Yeah.
Awesome song. Now I know true love. Right?
Yeah.
Leaning on the everlasting arm. That's what he was like, and then I'm stuck, man. I ain't got nothing there, man. And from that point, man, it became a very organic, like, experience because unspoken, like, not without saying anything, I just jumped in and went, "If I can see it,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
then I can be it.
Yeah.
If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe."
I
Came
can
up with
fly.
that chorus.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and the rest is history, man. You know, it's that kind of song only comes around ever so often. You
Absolutely.
know? The impact that song had globally, internationally, man, all over the world, being recorded in over 100 and something different languages, and that kind of impact, man. Those songs don't come around every day.
Right.
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 We chase them kind of songs.
Right. Right.
I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We
Wow.
chase
I
them.
wanted to just interject, man. That's amazing. Like, just I never knew, the kind of the story behind that. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, man. So a lot of people have argued my involvement on the song, but what's funny is that they did that because in the credits they don't give me my writers.
Mm.
So, so there's some legal things there. There's some things there that are being addressed, and I won't disclose some things that I need to stay silent on right now.
Yes, sir.
But it's the business. It's the business of music, And one of the things that a lot of us do is we are very talented and we can do certain things, but we don't keep in mind that it's a business.
Yeah.
It is a business, and you have to make sure that you're doing business and you're handling business, and you have someone who can handle your business.
Yeah, that's good.
At the end of the day. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I want to ask you, man, something kind of personal.
Go ahead.
So what's been some of the toughest moments that you faced throughout your journey, either personally or professionally? Like, what's one of those moments that made you just like, this is it for me, I'm done?
Man, it's funny because I don't think I would ever give up music because it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I love. And I would do it if I was making no money at all.
Yes, sir.
But there has been some challenges, man. And the challenges were never based on money. It was based on, man, how I was being viewed and treated by those who I had worked with to help establish their careers.
Yeah.
If you go through my resume, and this is not a boast, because I'm not that guy. I'm not from that cloth.
Right.
But there's not another producer, songwriter, right now who has the body of work that I have.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And what I mean by that is you go across the board. You go across the board and you look at the artists, the length and the breadth of artists that I've worked with. That list is extensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're talking about 4 different decades.
Wow.
4 different decades. And so what's funny is when people start to discount you because they think you're old, or they think that you're not you don't have value to what they think is valuable right now. But if they only knew, they need what I have.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And God has sustained me and kept me relevant. Because the one thing that I refuse to do is I refuse to let anybody else tell me who I am and who I'm not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
wow.
Yeah. I like what you said about that the young cats need what you have. What would you say that will be that they need that you have?
I think one of the main things is the ability to listen.
Wow.
The ability to listen and to hear what others don't really listen for. And what I mean by that is that you can hear an artist, if you're working with an artist and the artist is talking,
yeah,
you think they're talking, but they're not really talking. They're talking, but they're not really talking.
Yeah.
And see, the genius of what a producer does and who a producer is that, man, sometimes we're psychologists. Sometimes we're like the people that the artists bounce stuff off, personal things they bounce off. We're motivators at times. Sometimes, man, we're cheerleaders for the artists. We have to be all of these things in order to get a specific type of performance from them.
Yeah.
And so I think the younger guys need to understand the importance of listening, not just listening to the artists, but listening to what records have been successful. Then start asking yourself, why have they been successful? What are the things that are relatable in these records that I can apply to what I'm doing that will uniquely position me inside the marketplace where there's millions of others who are trying to do the same thing. Because it's not about trying to be one of the ones.
Right.
It's about trying to be the one.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people doing it, but what's going to distinguish you? What will make Mario who Mario is? So when people hear Mario, they know it's Mario. They don't have to see him, but they can hear it and say, I know that's a Mario production. I know that's a Mario song.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's a JB production. I know that's a JB song. It's always about understanding the importance of being a great listener, man, and studying.
Yeah. Wow. That's so valuable, man. So valuable. And,
Yes, sir.
You know, you touched on so many good points, and I'm, you know, I'm kind of in that range where, you know, I've got some peers and then I've got some mentees, some people like I'm right in the middle. And so I respect my elders. I respect the people that have done it before me, and I'm constantly in a position where I'm trying to show them that they're still valued. You know what I mean? That they still have relevance. That they still, because I know that they get it. You know, and it really doesn't change. So,
man, let me tell you, this young generation, they're super, super duper talented, bro.
Yeah.
They are. They just need somebody to help. They don't need the keys to the car until they learn how to drive.
Come on, man.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
You know, stick with me. Sit in the passenger seat. And you know what? I'm going to let you be you. I'm going to let you do you, because I don't want you to be me.
Exactly.
I'm already done. You can't repeat me. You know?
Already done.
You know, but there's some things that I know I can give you that's going to empower you and help you to be the best you that you can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So I just got maybe one question, and then we're going to let you go, man. Like I said, we want to...
Oh, man, dang, man. I thought we were going to chop it up.
I mean, we can now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I signed up for it. I'm in.
I value your time.
I got a little bit, man. I'm good.
Okay. So let me ask you, as far as influences, who are some of your influences?
Wow, good question. My number one influence, man, as a producer, would be David Foster. Then it would be Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Then it would be Bill Maxwell on the gospel side. Then it would be Kenny, Babyface, him in L.A., Jam and Lewis. Those are like the initial influences. Then when it comes to songwriting, Andre Crouch, Burt Bacharach, Cara Bear Sager, Diane Warren.
Wow.
So my list is vast and it's across genres.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose, because what I learned is that Quincy Jones taught me this. When you put yourself in a box, you limit your potential reach. You know, so rather than saying, hey, man, I'm a gospel songwriter.
Yeah.
How about just say I'm a songwriter I'm a Christian, though?
Yeah.
I just said the same thing. I just used it a little different.
Absolutely.
And the reason why is because some people are turned off by certain words. You say gospel, and they instantly, their ears shut down, right?
Yeah.
And it ain't because they don't like it. It's just that, at some point, a lot of us, we want to choose when we want to deal with certain things.
Yeah.
We don't want that force in our face. So if the potential reach for you is the world, the globe, then it would make more sense that you would approach things from an aspect of, man, I am a piano player and I can play anything. And I love Jesus.
Yes, sir.
And I love Jesus. I rock with Jesus. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
Come out the box. Come out that box, man.
Yeah.
That's so important for musicians to understand, I think, and singers. But I remember growing up trying to play the keyboard, and my father, I would try to sneak off and listen to other records, and my father was a pastor, so that was shunned upon to try to listen to other genres of music. But I understand from an expression side that when you bring all those things together, it helps you to bring out more of what you're trying to bring out in your music. You know what I mean? Speak to some of the other to the reasons why you chose some of the people that you chose for your inspirations.
Well, it's real simple. It's real easy for me because I had become bored with what I was hearing. What I was hearing and what I was playing wasn't challenging me.
Right.
It wasn't pushing the needle for me. The envelope wasn't being pushed. And for me, I've always had to have something driving, pushing me. Because whenever I felt like, man, this was it, I had reached where I couldn't go further, I would become uninterested. I wouldn't, it's like I wouldn't want to do it. Like, for instance, in church, there's a reason why certain hymns sound the way that they sound. There's a reason why, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that, right? I, like you, I'm a preacher's kid, Yeah, it was frowned upon when you listened to anything outside of church stuff. So I would sneak my mother's 9-volt transistor radio and go in the closet, man, and I'd listen to the jazz stations.
Okay.
And I'd listen to other stations. But what I found out when I did that, it made me so hungry to expand who I was and to learn more that at a point, I just had to have that conversation with my mom and had to just share with her, gospel music just it's not challenging me.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, the first gospel record that I did with a choir was Milton Brunson and the Tops Community Singers.
Wow.
And there was a record on there called Jesus is a Rock.
Uh-huh.
That record in itself, all of those hits and licks and stuff, that was inspired by me listening to the Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff. Wow. That was me being inspired by hearing horns and hearing all other sounds. Now, imagine if I had not been exposed to any of that or heard any of that, I probably wouldn't have been able to create something like that. And see, the thing about, we have to inspire each other's brothers. We should inspire each other. Let me say it that way.
Absolutely.
When I listen to Mario, I want to hear Mario, and when I listen to him, I know I can be inspired by hearing Mario. And see, that's the beauty of music, is allowing everybody to have their own identity within itself, because the reality is if we're all sounding the same, bro, we don't touch nobody.
Absolutely.
Man. We don't touch nobody, man. And for so long, the church has taught us wrong, because the church taught us, touch not the world, the things of this world, and blah, blah, blah. But what about the scripture that says, go ye into all the world and make disciples? And you cannot touch the world if you're not in it.
Well, they wasn't talking about our music, Doc. No, I'm just kidding. It's just...
Yeah, that's
right.
Another conversation. But
right.
You're right. You are exactly right. But the reality is, at the end of the day, you cannot affect anything looking from the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Change only happens from the inside.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Man, that's you dropping jewels, bro.
It only happens from the inside, bros. It only happens from the inside, man.
Yeah.
You can stand up. You can stand. I remember getting beat up one time by the football team in high school, and my brother went to the same school, man. And he heard I was being jumped on, and my brother came in the gym.
Yes, sir.
And instead of him jumping in, you know what he did? He looking down, saying, "Percy, you okay? You all right? Get off my brother! Get off my brother!" And when he got home, my daddy had to deal with him.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you got to get involved. The only way to make change is you got to get involved. You got to get inside of it.
Wow.
You got to get inside of it, man. You got to and accept the fact that everybody ain't gonna like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's funny you say that, because I think I finally just accepted that, and I've been saying for the past 3 or 4 months that I'll reach who I'm supposed to reach, and I'm good with that. I'm cool. But man, it's one other thing that I really wanted you to speak to, because I know you know this, and I've seen it in Chicago, and I've seen it somewhat in Milwaukee too, but more so the unity that you all had with musicians and brotherhood, and I want you to speak to relationships and how important they are, because you got some producers that may be watching, is wondering how do they break into the industry, not realizing it don't work like that. It ain't a break into the industry. Most times it's about relationship, who you know, you've been connected to, and you know what can they speak to about your character. You know, so it's not all about the talent. So can you speak to that, sir, please?
Sure, man. Sure. Well, one thing for sure, man, that character is not who you are when everybody's watching. Character is who you are when nobody's watching.
Wow.
That's what character is. That's the first thing. The other thing is what I've learned about us, in particular as musicians, is that we are quick. We are very quick, man, to discount each other based upon wanting to look like we are the superior. And when we really need to understand that the most powerful thing you can do for anybody, man, is to celebrate them.
Yes, sir.
You can celebrate people, because when you celebrate them, you elevate yourself. Relationships are key to this industry, man. A relationship will take you further. Hear this clearly for all producers, artists, songwriters, whatever. Relationships will take you further than your talent. Your talent will open the door, but you got to know how to have relationship at the end of the day. And you got to know how to have valuable, true, transparent relationship. I'm not talking about a false sense of identity. I'm not talking about a false, I tell you what you want to hear just because I'm trying to impress you and I want you to, put me on. No. I mean genuine relationship. Because what will happen is where you're trying to go, somebody will have a relationship or a resource, and they can pick up a phone and make a phone call and get you right where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So you can't discount relationships. Relationships are they're your most valuable asset in this industry. Relationships. It's the most valuable. It's the currency.
Yeah.
It's currency. Relationships is currency, man.
Yeah.
I know Chicago musicians, it seems like your camaraderie is huge. Like normally when you see I mean at one point in time it was, and I think even still now Chicago has some of the most used musicians, but they all like, it's like they all hang out together. You know, it's like it's a huge camaraderie. How did that come about? Is that something that
Well, I think, for the most part, man, most of us have come from churches where we've associated with each other, and that has turned into relationships outside of the church, man, and where some guys, man, play outside of the church and they play all over, and you get a chance to experience them outside. A lot of the younger generation now, man, they are really, really, I have utmost respect for them because they are really forging the value in relationships right now. A lot of them, they hang out together, man. They play, they share together, and they support each other. And that's the key, man, is the support, no matter what level somebody's on. If they know they have the support, man, it's just encouraging. It's encouraging to look out and see your peers, man, when you're doing something, man. And when they can say, hey, man, I really appreciated you. I enjoy you. It adds value. It adds a value to the relationship that I believe that you can't pay for. And it's learning how to celebrate, not tolerate, but learning how to celebrate. How you celebrate, man, guys who are advanced, guys who may not be as advanced. It's learning the importance of having three people in your life: somebody you look up to, somebody that's walking with you on your level, and somebody you pouring into. It's understanding those things, because when you understand those things, man, it just creates a solid and a firm foundation for you to move around. And when you move around, man, people will respect you. They'll have respect for you. They want to see you coming. When they see you coming, man, they welcome you. I can't say that the relationships here have all been rosy because there's been some rocky roads. But I think what the rocky roads have taught us the value and how to value each other. We just lost a huge legend here in the city, man, who was a drummer for Boss Skaggs, Destiny's Child, and a lot of others, George Benson, and a lot of others. His name is Kahari Parker.
Yeah.
Phenomenal drummer here, and that was a huge loss, man, for the city. Wow. And so I think it puts everything in perspective when you really sit down and you think about it, man. Life is but a vapor.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, we need to be treating each other, man, like we are all somebody, not just one somebody, man. I don't do that. If you meet me, you're going to meet the same guy. You see me one day, I'm going to be the same guy the next time you see me because I feel like, man, everybody should be loved. Everybody should feel valued and respected, no matter what level they at and no matter what they're doing, man. I'd rather rock with the underdogs anyway than the folks that's up there. That's just me.
Yeah, for sure. Man, it's funny you mentioned some of the Chicago musicians. Speaking of relationship, God rest his soul, Cornell Thigpen was a close friend of mine. And he was one of the ones that really taught me about relationships. Before we did any music, he was making sure we were sitting down having breakfast, having lunch. And he would hug you like I was uncomfortable because I'm a man's man. So Cornell would hug you, and he wouldn't let you go right away. And I didn't understand that at first. It was a little uncomfortable, but I knew he was he was all man as well. But he was trying to let me know that, like, I love you, like, I care about you. And that's really what kind of taught me. Like, somebody of his stature and as talented as he was, man, that would take time to, to just show me that kind of respect, that kind of love just really sat with me. And so I try to, give it out because that's what he taught me in relationships. So
that's right.
I'm glad you spoke to that, man, because it's so true. It's priceless, man. And God created us to need one another.
That's right,
so,
man.
That's what makes the world go round.
That's it, man. And we need each other, bro. Quiet as it's kept, man. We all need each other, man. When I look at the world and where everything is today, man, when we can honestly sit down and say, man, we don't own much of anything as a people.
Right.
And that, when you sit down and you really start accepting some things like that, man, it really makes you want to say, hey, man, what can I do to contribute to us establishing something that we can say that it's our own? Even if I don't live to see it, maybe my kids or your children's children, maybe they get to see it and get to experience it, man. But we have to get to a place where what we create, we own.
Yeah. That's big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man. I wanted to ask you if you got anything that's coming up or something that we can be on the lookout for.
Sure, man. Sure. I'm releasing a compilation record. I'm launching my new label.
Nice.
And I'm releasing a record called The Moment Speaks, and really it's a compilation of songs that really speak to the moment and the time that we are in right now. And that's the first thing I'm doing, and then I'm releasing a record. I have an EP that I did called 28 Days, and it's my journey through cancer.
Oh, wow.
Last year I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And thank God I'm totally healed as I sit here and talk with you guys today.
Wow, praise God.
Just had my 6-month checkup again, and we're still good. And the Holy Spirit said it's going to always be good. It's all good because, you're healed.
Wow.
Totally healed. And so I have that coming, man. And then there's a project that I'm going to do called One. And One is basically just bringing together all of God's creation and mirroring what heaven looks and sounds like.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned.
Yeah, you remember that talking about. That's been on my heart for like years, man. It's something God gave me, man, and I got away from it. And during this downtime with my cancer treatments and stuff, man, God started reminding me of some things that He spoke to me about. Also, man, there's a little girl, 11 years old, who was in Racine, Wisconsin. I met her when I came to Milwaukee. I was supposed to be a judge at the Pfizer for the Gospel Fest.
Okay.
And I came in, and I was supposed to be a judge, but I ended up being a musician. And there was a little girl, 11 years old. Her name was Leomani Segura. And she sang Because of Who You Are. And when I tell you the purity in her voice and the maturity, it was so amazing. She's one of the features on this The Moment Speaks record.
Awesome.
But I'm saying it to say that Wisconsin has got some talent, bro. You guys, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Racine. I know a rapper from Racine, Christopher Lamarck. Man, he's amazing. But I'm saying that to say that I believe the time we're in right now is where there's some hidden gems that need to be heard, and it's my responsibility as one of the OGs, as they call me now. it's my responsibility as an OG to use my platform to expose them.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. Mario is on the record. Mario's got a song that'll be featured on that record as well. Excited about him being a part of that. And it's all about it because here's the thing, man. If we only use our platform for us, then when we die, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
But when we use our platform to help others and to build others, what happens is your legacy grows.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm a genuine cat. I don't say stuff to be saying it. I don't get down like that. If I feel something, I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to rock with it because that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that's what's important, man. So, yeah, that's what I got going on. Actually, 28 Days is actually going to also have a 28 Days the movie and 28 Days the journal.
Okay.
So, because during that time, man, I had to do 28 straight days of double radiation.
Woo.
Jesus.
Yeah. And so during that time, man, God, like, he shut the windows, the curtains, the doors, and I couldn't hear nobody but him. And some of the stuff that he sang to me and some of the stuff he gave me to write, to put down, to document, it's just so, man, that I could use my journey to help somebody else who's going to go through the same thing and who is going through the same thing. Man, this is a staple, something that's cemented in history that they can go to that can help them walk through that journey, man.
Wow, that's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
Praise God for your testimony too, man. I didn't know anything about that, man. It's funny. You never know what people are going through.
Amen.
You see them on the outside and have no idea, man, what it takes to live the life that you live, man. So, you know. Yep.
Amen. I learned one thing. I learned this about God, man. When you go through privately and deal with what you have to deal with privately and you know, he'll reward you openly.
Absolutely.
Mess me up.
I'm just telling you, man, I learned that, bro. I mean, you know, it was important. If people saw me out, I wasn't looking like I was sick. I wasn't trying to look like I was sick. Yeah. I was trying to look like, man, I had it all.
That's right.
And because, you know, at the end of the day, that had to be my focus in order to get through mentally. Yeah. My focus had to be I was healed.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's how I had to walk. I had to walk that way. You know, and anything that didn't look like what I was speaking and what I believed, I got away from it.
Wow.
Yes, and that's a word. That's a word. That's a word for you upcoming artists and producers. Anything that doesn't look, it doesn't sound like what it is God has spoke to you.
Yes. Don't waste your time.
Don't even waste your time. You ain't gotta argue. You ain't got to say anything.
Wow.
Because it's about being obedient to him at the end of the day.
I think that's a life lesson too. Anything in your life that, you know what I mean? That's absolutely true. That's the second time I heard it today, by the way, too. That's confirmation. Yeah.
Amen.
Good stuff.
Amen.
Well,
Yeah. Amen.
James, man. Hey, man. We did it, bro.
Yeah. We made it. We made it cool.
this is the first show. This is teaching me something because, again, my heart was to be able to give back to people. And, I know that everybody's story is different and everybody's got something to give. And so my hope is that I can continue to reach out to at least the people that I'm connected to bring to our audience, valuable lessons, valuable things, jewels, and, just different things that'll help them along their way as well, because I had people that helped me, so I'm just here to try to help somebody else. And, I'm thinking this 30-minute thing may not be long enough. We probably gonna have to do
revisit that, Doc. Yeah,
you might need to revisit it, bro.
This thing got so good, man. So we was gonna keep it short and sweet, but I'm like, man, it's kind of hard to get in, dig deep, and get a lot of what we just. Man, I'm sitting here taking notes. I'm forgetting I'm on the podcast.
Right. hey, that's what it's about, man.
I'm listening to you, and I'm definitely gonna go back and listen myself, so I can dig deeper into it. But it's so valuable, man.
I forgot to mention something too, man. Also, man, I do. I started a online songwriting course, man. I forgot about that.
Oh, wow.
It's called Pen and Pad.
Pen and Pad.
Nice.
Oh, that's what's up.
And basically, man, I'm just teaching songwriting, man, and I have a 12-week course, and then I have a master class, which is I'll do those pop-up master classes. Then I do a mentorship as well,
Okay.
And so that's something, man, I forgot to mention. And you can get the information at penandpad.com.
Penandpad.com.
PENIN pad.com. Yep.
Okay. Also, what are your social media handles for people that want to follow you?
Okay, you can follow me, Percy Bady, on Facebook, Percy_Bady on Instagram, and then Percy Bady on Twitter as well.
Okay. James, any final words, man?
Man, I just want to thank Percy for all the nuggets that he's dropped. Like he said, this was valuable. This and also that 30 minutes is not going to work. So we've established that. We've established that.
Well, Percy, again, man, thank you, bro, for not only agreeing but being willing, and also bringing your supply and not being selfish with what it is you have. There's no question that I asked that you didn't freely give information about, and that's what's going to really help people. I believe transparency is what's really needed in order to for people to grow. And so that's what I'm about, and I appreciate you for being authentic and honest about your journey. And so a lot of things you share, man. This will be available in I think 2 to 3 days. The audio.
Okay.
And so it'll become part of our podcast where you'll be able to subscribe, and I'll send you the audio from it as well as this video you'll be able to share if you'd like to as well.
Cool. That'll be great, man.
Sure.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Yes,
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, JB. Appreciate you, Mario.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. More than you know. Thank you so much, man.
I bless you.
So tomorrow, to our listeners that are still on, let us know that you enjoy Percy. Make sure you reach out to him and support his endeavors and things that he's got going on. He's a great guy, as you can tell, and we just love him, man. We appreciate him. And tomorrow, we're going to have a special guest as well by the name of Uncle G, Dr. Greg Lyons. He is a marketing, promo, management, and radio guru. So you don't want to miss the nuggets that he'll be dropping as well. So make sure you join in tomorrow. James, tell them how they can continue to be a part of this.
Yeah, always follow us on Facebook. Facebook Live at Mario J. Brown on his Facebook page, and then also on his YouTube page at MJB Music with a K on YouTube. And subscribe, and every time you subscribe, you get notified when when we're popping up a new video. So please do that ASAP.
Yes, sir. Again, man, we appreciate y'all time. It went over longer, but I'm so glad that it did, man.
Absolutely.
So, we're going to have some talking to do and try to figure out if we just going to go ahead and make it an hour.
Right.
So hopefully y'all stick with us and y'all enjoy it, and we bring you something valuable that you can take away from it and, continue to grow. So without further ado, MJB Music, JB Podcast, let's get it.
Let's get it.